Okay, thank you. All right, so I think we have everyone. So just Mike, do you want to just kind of run through real quick again, um, process and mutes and all that kind of stuff?
Yep. So as we go through, just for everyone's sake, we have everyone on mute. If you have anything you want to say, please put it in the chat and we can get to that. And if we get there, then we can ask you to come off of mute and have the conversation, just so that we don't have any distractions and things like that going forward. But please, if you have questions or want to go deeper into anything else, use the chat and we'll have time at the end also for questions, answers.
All right, Mike, and so and then Mike, I'll just ask you again to help me out, move the slides when ready, and then we'll get started here. So again, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. I know taking valuable time out of your evening to kind of uh, hear about Cal South and learn a little bit more about what's happening. And so tonight just we're going to go over some topics. If you want to jump in, well, let me before I jump into the agenda, just again to give everyone a little background if you're not 100% understand who Cal South is. I mean, we are the governing body here in Southern California. Again, we are a 501c3, and our goal is to grow the game, keep the game safe, really make it fun for youth and adult coaches and referees. And really, as I mentioned, our impact again covers the whole gamut of the game, youth to adult. Certified. Heard a lot of our conversation about certified coaches, certifying the referees. Again, just trying to find ways that we can grow the game at every aspect. And again, we do have a huge opportunity, Michael. Again, coming next year in the next few months, and we heard Argentina has the clearest path, but we have the World Cup coming in 26. And so there's a lot of opportunity. There's going to be a lot of kids who are going to be exposed to the game. They're going to be looking for ways to participate. So that's where again Cal South is going to work. Throughout the community, cities, parks and rec, the leagues, the coaches. We're just going to try to find ways to make sure these kids have an opportunity to taste the world's game here, and really take advantage of that opportunity of the World Cup here in LA. And then right after that, we'll have the LA 28, the Olympics, and then the Women's World Cup in 31, right, Mike? Is it 31? Yeah, 31.
Yep.
So yeah, and so it's an exciting time for the game. There really is going to be a lot of excitement moving forward, and we really appreciate all that you guys do on a daily basis. Being out on the pitch, coaching, driving the kids, keeping them, loving the game, excited, engaged in the sport. And again, it's without you guys without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do what we do here at Cal South. All right. And so again, here's kind of what we do. We do not have a quorum. So Mike will just jump into the agenda, the topic items for this evening. So if you want to jump to the next one. So we're going to talk a little bit about the age, that the new change that's coming here shortly. We're going to talk about the registration platform for our membership. Again, U.S. Soccer has launched the pathway strategy, again, related to the state associations and really the ecosystem across the United States. We'll talk a little bit about that. And then, of course, we'll touch a little bit more on the World Cup coming next year. And then we'll open up for some questions and see if there's anything else we can touch on for you guys. So why don't we just jump right into it? So the school year age. And so if you guys do not remember, U.S. Soccer earlier this year said that we were going to go back to the school year versus the calendar or birth year. And so August 1st was decided on when that would start. And with U.S. Youth Soccer, U.S. Club, AYSO, they all came to an agreement that they would all use the same date to try to minimize the confusion out there in the marketplace. And so Cal South kind of fell in line with that. The chart you see here is kind of where people would fall based on their birth month. And I just want to read real quick, and sorry, getting real close, looking at the fine print here. We do want to note that the seasonal year aligns with the school year starting August 1st. It has nothing to do with what school grade the player is in. So just take note of that. And what we do recommend with this change that's going to start is we're recommending that you start implementing this in spring of 26. The the rest of the U.S. soccer, I mean, their implementation will start in the fall of 26, so August of 26. But in order to make a smoother transition, try to reduce confusion, try to reduce any kind of hiccups as we jump into the fall, we're recommending that people start this process in spring of 26. And so, Mike, I don't know if you want to touch a little bit up from your end on the age.
Yeah, I think it's just important for any of the clubs. I think I've heard a lot from different directors and clubs that trying to get ahead of the curve because since this is coming in the start of the fall season, but don't want to delay because that just delays the inevitable what's going to happen. So trying to get the team chemistry and the new players that are coming on board and matching right players of different ages, birth years under the same right calendar or sorry seasonal year. So just trying to make sure that you're fully prepared. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to us about what that means for players. Like if you wanted to continue with the team that you have, right, that's still completely possible, just with the realization that some of those players would be playing up maybe like as much as a year and a half because of this disparity, but fully capable of supporting you through that process. Reach out if you have any questions, find out what's best for the players, anything like that, how we can help.
This will be in full effect in fall of next year. So again, start in the spring, it will make life a little bit easier. And then Mike, if you want to just touch on how it impacts ODP, national team, FIFA, all that kind of stuff, specifically here, Cal South and the US.
Yeah, perfect. So the ODP will stick with the birth year, right? It won't really affect any of the clubs. Nothing that you need to do on your end. That's a part of us and our staff that, I mean, we've done it in the past. We're fully prepared to do it again. When our staff goes out and watches players, we take that into account anyways, because sometimes there's a younger birth year player playing up as well. So we take everything into account. We will stick by birth year again because the national team goes by birth year. And that's what our platform is all about, is identifying players and supporting them to the national team, youth national teams, whether it's the U.S. or other national teams, which also go by birth year. So we will stick with that format. And again, if you have any questions about it, you can always reach out to me.
And I think the chart that you're seeing on the screen right now, that is available on the Cal South website. And again, it's a good guide to help parents to understand where their child may fall. But again, it's something that we strongly recommend that you implement or start to put together here in the spring, because come the fall of 26, this is something that, it's to minimize those hiccups, confusion, right before the season starts. So again, get started in the spring. And again, we're here to help if there's any questions. So, before, are there any questions from the group? Want to drop it in the chat as it relates to the age? Doesn't look like we have. So I think everyone, all right, so everyone should be in line and feeling comfortable with the August 1 age school year. All right. All right. So the next topic, we're going to talk about the registration platform. So again, you all are probably familiar. Your registrars are familiar when they win. We do have Stack Sports is the system that we are currently using to do all our membership registration. And why this is important is because if you may or may not have heard, recently a Playmetrics has purchased Stack Sports. So in that process, in the analysis of that merger of the two companies, we were informed that the system that we are currently using, Stack Sports, is really going to be eliminated down the road. And so that Playmetric will be the new system that they will be implementing. The good thing is that this change will not go into effect until September of 2027. So there's nothing that you need to be concerned about or worried about in terms of the switch that is happening from Stack Sports to Playmetrics. Now, with that being said, Cal South, Christy, Laura, the membership team, we are doing a full analysis and looking at all the potential platforms that are available to us. So we will be with Stack Sports all the way through the end of August of 27. 2027. But probably within the next few months, as we're doing this analysis on the platform, we are going to, make sure we select the platform that is best for our members, to hopefully simplify the process, try to, make things easier, cost effective, all those things easier on the registrars, coaches, everybody, to make life a little bit easier as we move forward. So with that being said, even though we'll be using Stack Sports through to the end of August of 2027, we will start the process with our new platform or with Playmetric, whatever we decide to do, probably late next year. Christy, is that, again, what your estimate would be, in that process?
For the fall of 2027. So we'll start using the new platform in January, February, when we start doing registration for the fall.
Right. And the plan is, as whoever we decide to go with, it's Playmetric or one of the other platforms, is that there will be training, there will be a lot of education available to the clubs to try to streamline that process and make it easy. So that I would assume, right, Chrissy, that I believe that would start late next year before we jumped into the registration, starting using that, correct, in beginning of 27.
Absolutely.
Gotcha. Okay. So that is the kind of the update on the platform. So we did want to put it out there. I know change is never easy for anybody. I know our team is, obviously stressed about it a little bit. But again, we're going to try to make this as seamless as possible. And again, we're doing a full analysis of all the platforms and making sure we're selecting the platform that is best for Cal South and the membership. So you'll see more about this in the coming months. And again, it is coming, and we just want to inform the membership that this is something that we'll be seeing, changing here in the near future. And before we jump to that, Mike, any questions from the group regarding platform, registration, that stuff? It doesn't look like it. All right, Mike. So let's jump over to the next one. And this is a big one. And Mike, I'll let you chime in here in a second too. But so U.S. Soccer has introduced what's called the Pathway Strategy. They are doing a full analysis and evaluation of the ecosystem across the United States. And this does not just affect the state associations. They are incorporating all the stakeholders into this analysis. So that would include, the professional leagues, MLS, USL, all the way down to, US Youth, US Club, AYSO, bringing in the adults into the conversation, ECNL, GA, you name it. So this is a full analysis of the ecosystem. They have, heard the membership about the confusion, unclear pathways, the alphabet soup that is out there. They see that there are, multiple organizations doing the same thing, but really not, getting the results. So U.S. Soccer is doing a full analysis of the ecosystem. What is the role of the state association in that case? Cal South. How can we help continue to grow? How do we identify, the future talent for the national team? So these are all the things that are going to be under this analysis. So this is a full, again, we've been part of these conversations for the last few months, and really what they're trying to do is take the current state of the ecosystem, which is fragmented and unclear, really inconsistencies, and they're trying to develop a more clear aligned pathway, again, from the grassroots all the way to the professional. And so it is a pretty intense analysis that they're going through. We've been providing a lot of information. We've been providing a lot of feedback in this process. It's still kind of early in the game. And some of the other things that they're trying to do is really also, again, the strained resources across all the various organizations. How can they improve that process? Why are we duplicating efforts? Are there a way to consolidate efforts? So those are a lot of things that they're looking at, and especially with the rising costs, extensive travel, all those type of things. Really the current ecosystem, is it really sustainable in the current state? And the U.S. Soccer, the federation, really has heard the membership saying, hey, we need you guys, we need the leadership to reevaluate what's happening. And now that's the process that is going on now. And so just to give you a little bit of an understanding about kind of the step-by-step process, it really started back through what they call the ecosystem review. And they really worked with all the state association, the 54 state associations, all the national organizations, associations of U.S. Youth and AYSO and U.S. Club and all the others. And really, they really took all this information and start to build a blueprint of where they want to go. So they've kind of, in that process, they've kind of identified some shared goals, some high level, kind of strategic frameworks that they want to accomplish. And really now what they've done is they really start narrowing that down. So if you've seen any of the stories, Cal South was selected as one of 5 state associations really to be part of this firsthand. So like I mentioned, there are 54 state associations, but Cal South is one of 5 that they've invited to the table to really provide input and be part of those conversations about what this ecosystem should look like. And so through that process, what we're trying to work is to kind of build a co-design of the pathway, strategy. And, kind of as we start to look at what a timeline might look like, coming at the Federation's AGM in February, they are going to kind of line up some key topics that they're going to start to work on very close and in depth. So they're going to design what that activation looks like, what that strategy, what those pathways, who are the key stakeholders involved. And then really the first step from that, or the first result from all that, they look to launch kind of the pre-professional segment kind of in 27, and then launch kind of the competitive recreational segments in 2028. And so we don't have more information than that at this point. But I know Mike and I alluded to this while we were waiting for everyone else to join. But again, NCAA is involved with this, MLS, UPSL, USL, ECNL, US Youth, ASO, all the state associations. So this is the Federation really trying to take in all the stakeholders and create a pathway that really makes sense, because the current state really hasn't been very productive for them. Mike, did you want to touch a little bit on what that means in terms of that player pathway real quick?
Yeah, I think, like I say, without trying to give too much, it's, there's a little bit of information that we can share, but there's big changes starting to happen. Like Jeff has said, U.S. Soccer knows this, and now they're starting to take action. It's probably going to be one of the biggest projects that we've seen them start in a long time. But it's going to affect the grassroots level, right, the competitive level, and the pre-professional level. And so what that means for us, especially like within our area and ODP, it's really, really great, because a lot of things that they're starting to do is they've got a talent reporters program to identify players and talent. They also have a talent scout. It's a little bit confusing with the wording, but so for any coaches with I think it's a B license or above, can be talent scout. So they're pushing this big network out to identify players. They've had more talent ID centers than ever before. They've hosted over 50 talent ID centers throughout the country, with a lot of them taking place. Actually, we have one on Wednesday in San Diego coming up this week. And so there's been a lot of push towards this change. One of the great things is that U.S. Soccer has identified U.S. Youth and ODP as one of their main areas of focus. So they're working really closely with us to improve this structure. And again, like ODP was a great structure. They're going to try and look into kind of implementing the structure that was very similar to ODP as it was. So instead of reinventing the wheel, they're just going to work closely, and we're going to make the best of what we can with it. And like I say, I think that works out really, really well for our area, our players, because again, we've got more players, going to youth national teams and camps than any other state association. So it's only fitting to come and work closely with us, with their talent managers as well, to find our top players for not just Cal South, but for the country as well. So there's big changes across all levels through the player pathway and the talent identification program. A lot of exciting things for 2026.
And I know, again, we were told, or not told, what we heard, um, and hopefully maybe as early as this week, to talk about some collaborations that are going to be taking place between US Youth Soccer and US Club. And all this is going to be brought to you through this pathway strategy. So they're trying to bring the key players to the table instead of everyone operating in their own little silos. They're going to try, what they said, they're going to start knocking down some walls to kind of force collaboration to improve the ecosystem, try to make things a lot clearer, less alphabet soup. I don't know if that's even possible, but again, they want to try to create a clear and concise pathway that parents and players understand is available to them. So, again, what this is, in their words, is really kind of a way for everybody within the ecosystem to work side by side, and that's all the members of the federation. Again, that they understand, the U.S. Soccer hasn't necessarily, they've kind of shied away from making tough decisions, and they have said they know tough decisions are going to have to be made, and then again to move this sport and the ecosystem in a better place. And so they understand that change is coming. Good change is about to happen, and again, they're all about it. And again, they're bringing all the key players to the table and having those conversations. So again, this is all about sharing data and information of what's the best for the game. And really, it's all about driving intentional and methodical decisions and actions to really improve the game that we all love. So that's kind of a broad level of conversation. We're hoping to get more information in the coming weeks about some more specifics. But again, I know, like I said, we heard that there are some good announcements that should be coming related to this through with US Youth and US Club and some collaborative efforts. So that's kind of what the pathway strategy is all about. And again, like I mentioned, Cal South is at the table. We are one of the 5 associations. MLS is engaged. Everyone's at the table working with the federation to drive this sport forward. All right. Any questions or thoughts? So I don't see anything coming through, Mike.
Not seeing any.
Okay. All right. We'll move on. So then kind of we touched on it a little bit, but we have the World Cup coming, next year. A lot of excitement, activity. This is an opportunity a lot of kids are going to be, wanting to get involved in the game. And so just we wanted to share a little bit kind of things that we're doing. You may have seen last Saturday, the World Cup kind of kicked off their Growing the Game clinic series. And Cal South was directly involved. Mike was part of this. Again, there was a coaching clinic that took place at LA City College, and it was, what do we have, Mike? About 180 coaches out there as part of this World Cup.
Close to 200.
Close to 200, and it was again World Cup branded. Again, Mayor Bass was out there. So this is a project that Cal South was involved with the host committee. We are now in the process of working with the host committee on continuing the growth of their Growing the Game clinic series. And so this will be a variety and an assortment of clinics that we will be leading and running across LA County. And again, this is really just to give kids an opportunity, in some of the dialogue before we hopped on here about ticket prices. Not everyone's going to have the ability to go to a game. Not everyone's going to have the ability maybe to go to a watch party or to the fan fest. And so the idea is that we're going to be part of these clinic series, and we can take the World Cup to them and give them a little taste of the World Cup in their hometown. So that is one thing that we're working with. We are working with LA County Parks and Rec on other programming related to the World Cup. We have the LA County Office of Education that we're collaborating with some World Cup themed ideas through the LA, all the unified school districts within LA. So there's some exciting stuff happening there. And Juan, are you on?
Yes, good evening, everybody.
Do you want to touch on some of the things that we've been working on, Mundilito and some of the other stuff?
Yeah, we're so excited. First off, good evening. Thank you for everybody for joining, and we appreciate it. So we've been working with to be there during the World Cup, right? And whatever is needed from the LA host committee, working with Jeff mentioned, LA County, with FIFA as well. We also worked with CONCACAF during the Nations League. So, we're well versed in activation and creating clinics and bringing in, all of the soccer clinics, introducing soccer into the community. So it's something that's really important for us. We're also going to kick off our first year event of the Mundialito that will play during the World Cup. Once we get those dates, we'll send it out to the whole community. So stay tuned in. We have some important announcements. And obviously, when we have opportunities to be a part of these events, of course, we'll start reaching out to our VIPs and our members to, help us be part of the beautiful game that's coming in 26.
Yep. And one of the things that Cal South is working on now is hopefully to kind of lead and help other communities with watch parties. Now, the watch parties are an interesting dynamic because there are certain rules about using the broadcast. So again, if you have a community that's interested in a World Cup watch party, feel free to reach out because there are it's tough because you can't charge a ticket to go to a watch party. If you're making money on it, FIFA, Fox Sports will not allow that broadcast to take place. I know FIFA and Fox are spending millions of dollars to kind of get out in the marketplace and watch people who are maybe doing things they're not supposed to with the live broadcast. So make sure to if you're planning on something, I would recommend to do it the right way. As of actually today, FIFA has opened up the portal to submit for the rights to the broadcast. Now, I'll kind of try to keep this kind of simple here with these broadcast rights. There are really two categories to be in: commercial and non-commercial. So anything that's non-commercial, it's essentially you're putting up a screen, maybe just under 1,000 people just kind of to watch the game. So you're not generating revenue through sponsorships. You're not generating revenue through ticket sales or anything like that. It's really a true organic grassroots watch party. And so those are the ones that would get approved pretty easily. Now, the ones that are considered commercial is when you want to set, if you're going to charge an entry fee, I can almost, what I've been told is you can almost guarantee that they're going to reject your proposal. So I would really watch charging a fee to get in. Now you can charge for concessions, food, those type of things. But again, there's a lot of rules in terms you can't be branded, all these type of things. And if you have questions, we can go into more detail for you guys on this. But again, if sponsorships, again, they do allow for sponsorships. They cannot conflict with the FIFA or the World Cup sponsors. So keep that in mind. And again, if it's something that is kind of not a competing sponsor, they are open to the that company providing funds for this watch party. But again, so if you have any questions, I can help you in more detail. But really, the magic number is 1,000 spectators or less, and really not generating any revenue. Unfortunately for a watch party. So, but Cal South is in the process of trying to create a few watch parties around Southern California to kind of just create and bring that World Cup to the communities. And I think it's something that, we're getting close to putting our submission in, hopefully to get approved. So once we get more information on that, we'll share that with the membership. But we're excited for the opportunities to, with the World Cup, through the clinics, through again the youth clinics, the coaching clinics, and again just helping out where the host committee needs it. So, anything from your side, Mike?
No, I think that's a lot of good upcoming things to look forward to for 2026 that we're going to be a part of. So again, if you want to be a part of any of it with us, please reach out and we can include anyone that wants to be involved.
And Juan Guzman's looking for tickets, so if you have a couple. So, all right. So I think, so those are the main topics that we wanted to cover this evening. So we appreciate your time. Again, Mike, I think, did you open up for any questions? I guess, well, if you have any thoughts or questions, and there's the Cal South Bear, our new mascot. And so again, if you have any questions, let us know. And again, we appreciate you taking the time and your commitment to the sport, your commitment to Cal South, keeping the game safe and fair, and getting everyone involved. So again, we really appreciate it. And if there's anything that we can do to help support what you guys are doing, please let us know.
At this time, feel free to put it in the chat or raise your hand if you want to come off of a mute.
All right. So again, I'm not seeing any questions. You, Mike?
No.
Excellent. All right. So again, we appreciate you attending the AGM here this year. And again, we wish you and your family and your teams and your clubs and your parents, a happy holidays, safe. And actually, I don't know, Wade, or I would say got Wade and Nick on our board members. Anything that you want to add?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Really appreciate all the work that the staff has done over the last year. Cal South wouldn't be the organization it is without you. And thank you to all the members for continuing to support us. And I firmly believe that 2026 is going to be an amazing year for the organization. And with all the changes coming down from US soccer, I firmly believe that youth soccer is on a direction that will see all of us succeed and hopefully develop the players required to pull down the biggest trophy of them all in a few years.
Any thoughts, Wade? Close it out.
Look, I'll just echo what Nick said. I would want to thank everyone for their hard work and the commitment from our leagues and our clubs that are on the phone. I'm really excited for next year. I think there's a ton to be excited for across Southern California soccer. So thanks, everyone, and I want to wish you all a happy holidays.
Excellent. Yeah, again, appreciate everyone's time again. And we're here. So if you have questions, feel free to reach out to us. And we look forward to seeing you guys in 2026. All right. Thank you, everybody.